Hello Derby people, welcome to another Monday Rules Blues. My name is Shinobi Selty. I'm going to pretend this is Cobra Kai Derby coach and yeah, let's talk about some rules. I'm just going to sit him over here so you can watch over me and make sure I don't stuff up on anything. Oh, who's a good Cobra Kai? You are? Yes you are. Sit! So this week we're talking about fouling out, which doesn't happen too often in Derby, but it's still an important thing that you should know what the hell happens when you happen to foul out. Just a quick disclaimer, this is just our interpretation of the rules. If anyone teaches you differently, that's fine, don't hate on us, okay? So rule 7.4.1.1 basically says that if you get 7 penalties, you are fouling out of the game. When you get your 7th penalty, one of two things will happen. Either a ref will tell you to leave the track area immediately without going to the box, or you'll go to the box like you did with your other 6 penalties, and one of the refs, usually the head ref, will come over before your penalty time is finished and tell you that you're out of the bout. The way that Cobra Kai reads these rules is that Woofter doesn't want you to sit in the box, they want you to leave immediately. That's great and all, but sometimes it's not really practical. The refs are very busy people and they can't just take precious time out to tell people to bugger off out of the box. Either way, eventually you will be told by somebody that you've fouled out. So then what do? You must leave the track area. This includes the penalty box and the bench. What's that, Cobra Kai? You no longer have to hide in the locker room in shame when you get ejected? I totally agree. You should really never get ejected. It sucks. As of the 2013 rules, you now can go to the locker room if you want, or you can stay out and watch the rest of the bout with the fans. You can go skate in the parking lot if you like. You could do all 3 of those things. You just can't get on the track, sit on the bench, or interfere with the bout. This means no throwing things onto the track or tripping refs from the suicide seats. Basically, anything a fan isn't allowed to do will get you in trouble as well. Rule 6.13.36 says if you interfere with the bout anyway after fouling out, you'll be banished to the locker room and your captain will get a penalty. This is because the captain has to keep her team in line. That is her job. Speaking of the captain, they actually have a superpower. She or he is the only person, in theory, who could be an exception to the 7 penalty rule. If your coach or bench manager get ejected from the bout, the captain has to serve a penalty for it. But that penalty doesn't count towards her fouling out number according to 7.4.2.6. So technically, the captain could serve 7 or 8 penalties and still be playing. But that almost never happens. That's what you're meant to do. You are meant to serve the penalties, not other people. But what do other people have to do after you've fouled out? Holy crap, my fouling out affects other people? Yes, it does. I'm starting to understand that everything in Derby is connected in somehow. If you create some kind of penalty over here, it affects someone over there. Even though you're out of the bout, your penalty time has to be served by someone, even if it is an imaginary person. Woofter, why the hell are you letting imaginary people serve penalties? You just, why? This is where it gets really interesting and complicated. If you are sent to the box following your 7th penalty, the time you're sitting there counts towards your penalty time as usual. If you are told to leave during the jam, your penalty time will be served by an empty seat for the rest of that jam. It's like an imaginary you sitting there until either the jam ends or your time is up. If your time runs out during that jam, the imaginary you goes back onto the track. .4.5 says if there is still time left on your penalty clock when the jam ends, your team has to send in a substitute to serve the rest of your time. Basically, they'll do exactly what you would have done if you hadn't reached your penalty limit. When your penalty time is up, the substitute enters the jam in progress in the same position, either pivot, blocker or jammer, as you were playing when you got your 7th penalty. Your team can't make this substitution during a jam, only between jams. Things can get super confusing if you foul out as the jammer and then the other jammer gets a penalty right after yours, because jam penalty times usually cancel each other out. But that is something that the penalty box manager and the refs have to worry about. Their job is freaking hard, you should respect them more. The same rules apply if you foul out while you're in the penalty queue. The penalty queue, remember, is when you're skating around while you're waiting for an empty spot in the box. Your penalty time will eventually be served by someone, whether it be an imaginary person or someone else in the next jam, depending on when a seat opens up in the box. Cobra Guy has one last tip to leave you with. You can have beer. Oh, sweet beer. The last two rules of the book, 10.4.1 and 10.4.2, say that you can't participate in a bout whilst under the influence of alcohol, and you can't drink at the bout with skates on your feet. But if you fouled out and you technically aren't participating in the game anymore, then you can take your skates off and drink up. Or if you're a non-drinker like me, you can just, I don't know. What the fuck can you do as a non-drinker at a freaking bout? Buy lots of merchandise. You heard the man, pants are optional. Always at Roller Derby Nerd, pants are optional. So that's it for this week. If you have a rule that you want us to cover, please leave a comment down below, or as someone has said, I should say down under. Leave a comment down under. Ah, that sounds horrible. Or you can send us a message on Facebook or on Tumblr or on Twitter and we will get onto it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. 3, 2, 1, go! When you get ejected. When you get ejected. Shane, when you get ejected, damn it, just freaking do it. You're not helping me at all. It's pretty much fine. It's fine, it's all fine. And I have something in my eye. So don't forget to